Let's talk about how to use pain and emotional health and well-being to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and that's our topic for today. And we'll talk a little bit about pain. We'll talk about the impact it has on our emotional health and well-being and how we can use it to grow and build and supersize our business. I will, do a little editorial comment up front. When you study marketing, when you study human behavior, when you study psychology, when you study anything, you will find that anything, just about any technique or tool or strategy you learn about can be used for good and it can be used for evil. And I'm going to put the caveat on that this must be used for good and to help your people that you interact with, people that are stakeholders with you in building and growing and supersizing your business, as well as your customers. A lot of marketing, I remember, would rub me the wrong way early on when I started learning about it, because they would say, okay, figure out what your customers' pain points are and then exacerbate that pain. And I'm like, why on earth would we want to make somebody's pain feel worse and then slap a solution and sell them a solution? I hate that marketing ploys and strategies. I also don't like a lot of the sleazy, homeboy, all kinds of crazy marketing strategies that are out there in the world. And I don't use them. You don't need to. If you just be yourself, that's the best possible marketing you can do. And if you really care about and want to help your customers and have them have a great experience, that's the best marketing you can do, because it leads to all of the positive ways of marketing and all of the positive ways of making the world a better place. So let's talk about pain today. There's, of course, a couple of different types of pain. There's emotional pain, which is particularly strong in what we're talking about when we're talking about appealing to and speaking in the same language as our customers, especially, which I 100% agree with from a marketing standpoint. You've got to identify who you're here to serve and speak directly to them and really want to help and them solve problems with your products and your services. So emotional pain is loss, betrayal, grief, things that can have as big an impact on us physically as they do emotionally, because they are so connected to our body, right? And we feel things in our body. We feel our emotions in our body. The first type of pain is, of course, acute pain. If you break a leg or an arm or a bone, you have immediate acute pain, and maybe there's stress and anxiety associated with that. And those are the emotions that are usually linked to acute pain. But you know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and you're going to recover. And so acute pain is more handleable by us as human beings because we know that it's going to stop at some point. The second type of pain is chronic pain. Chronic pain is that pain that lasts for months or years. It might happen as a result of an accident. It might happen as a result of a disease or some other type of injury. Arthritis, fibromyalgia, nerve damage, any type of illness that leads to long-term pain and things. Cancers often lead to neuropathy, which is long-term loss of feeling and pain, because guess what? It hurts when you can't feel where your feet or your fingers are. But it often leads to, since it never really ceases or ends, and you know that there isn't an end to it, it leads to emotional exhaustion. It leads to irritability. It leads to lowered motivation, things like that. Now, I've got a lot of experience, not with acute pain so much, but chronic pain. Yeah, I guess some acute pain with my eyes, but chronic pain due to arthritis. I've had arthritis and other non-diagnosed systemic things since my early 20s. And I spent a lot of time with doctors and in dark rooms due to migraines and things and kidney mess ups that led to emotional exhaustion, irritability, definitely, and lowered motivation. If you can't get out of bed, you're not very motivated to do anything but just try to get better and try to recover. And I actually got a diagnosis that was no diagnosis from my specialist, because that was back in the day before, because I am that old, that they actually did team and holistic team problem solving for our bodies, realizing, oh yes, there's more going on than just this one thing. And if we isolate all these things and treat them individually, there's negative interactions of doing that. And I was probably a science experiment for a lot of people back then. And at some point I was just like, time out. I'm in my early 20s. I am missing out on so much, and that's not acceptable for me. And I started to say, okay, if the doctors can't fix me, and I had put all my belief in the experts at that time, then who's going to fix me? Well, nobody but me. So that's when I started to meditate and journal, and some of the other strategies that I'll share with you that we can do and use on ourselves or the people that are parts of our organization or to help our customers. And then talk about how do we use this in a positive way to build and supersize our business and seriously solve problems and help make the world a better place by reducing pain for our customers. Pain alters our emotional well-being. Pain and our emotions are directly linked. It reduces our patience and our ability, our resilience, our ability to bounce back after challenges. And who doesn't have challenges? It makes it very difficult to handle the normal daily stressors that everybody else faces and doesn't even faze them because it's just part of life. It impacts our self-identity, who we are before, who I was before I had chronic pain and who I am now, two entirely different people. How I approach life and problems and challenges before and now are different. And they have to be different in order for me to live the life that I want to live. It limits our social interaction. I think one of the most heinous things about pain is it socially isolates us. It causes us to withdraw from relationships, to not share with other people, because people don't want to hear that you're hurt and are in pain, especially people that love and care about you, who you would think want to listen and let you vent and get better. They just get tired of it. But it causes us to not participate in activities that we would otherwise participate in. It triggers unhelpful coping behaviors in many: overeating, alcohol or other substance abuse, pain med abuse nowadays is really common, or drug abuse when pain meds are cut off because the government thinks that's the way to help people or help alleviate the drug problem, is actually go after the people that are using it legally to help function in their lives and become, and be positive members of society. I have a lot of feelings about that. And then social isolation, it may emerge as a way to escape, right? We isolate ourselves thinking we don't want to be a bother to other people, which is just the opposite of what we need to do when we're feeling pain and experiencing pain. So how do you break the pain emotion cycle? And how do you do it for yourself, for people in your organization, and for your customers? Number one, encourage meditation and mindfulness. If we're present and in the present moment, and this is a strategy that I use to get myself out of this very, very dark place that I was in at one point. I realized that if I could separate the pain from my emotions, I would realize that although I had chronic pain and I didn't know ever when it was going to hit, and I always had it and was always an ever present in my life, there were seconds. I literally started with seconds, and I started measuring the time between the pain, or between my feeling the pain on an emotional and physical level. And I realized that as I focused on the time in between the pain, it got bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where I could function and I could do things that I wasn't able to do before. So mindfulness, meditation, therapeutic movement, yoga, stretching, walking around can enhance our mood and our circulation and reduce the level of pain we're having. Having support networks, sharing experiences with others and understanding reduces emotional isolation. Now, I'm going to throw out a caveat here. Be careful how you pick and interact with different type groups, especially in social media. I think physical groups are better because it gets us face to face with people. Online tends to be very negative and can suck you down into the hole of dark despair. So if you are a person like I am that affects in a negative way, just choose not to participate in those, or find a group that has a positive slant. I have a group called Painkillers with the Z, that we keep it all positive, because and on healing and improving, not on, oh my God, this is awful, I'm never gonna be able to function, I can't have my old life back. Well, no, you can't have your old life back, but you can create the life that you want if you choose. Having creative outlets, writing, drawing, coloring, any kind of artistic expression, creative expression, music, painting, writing, journaling. That's why I think journaling is so powerful. I encourage people to always have a vision board, because a vision board has us focusing on what it is that we want, not on what's going on this instant with our pain level. And then finally, sometimes we need to seek professional support, and often we need to. We need physical therapists. We need doctors. We need teams of people that can work together with us to help us either emotionally handle the pain level that we're in, or help us with different modalities to reduce the pain so that we can focus on the time in between and actually function as human beings. I'm just going to share one person's story so I don't go too long. Carlos lived with arthritis and felt hopeless until joining a support group. There he learned to use pacing techniques and found friendships that helped him to realize he wasn't alone, which is really powerful. And I think part of how we can deal with our customers in this is we want them to know that they aren't the only person that we're serving that has the pain that we're solving for them, or the problem that we're solving for them. Guess what? Problems give us pain, at least emotional pain. So if we're solving problems for our customers, we are helping to reduce pain for them. And everything we do should be to help reduce pain and friction for our customers so that they have an incredible experience with us. All right. Key takeaway: pain is part of our lives. It's how we're wired. It's part of the human experience. We all experience pain, and how we handle it is entirely up to us. How we help our customers and our team members handle it is also up to us. Let's all work together to make the world a better place and reduce the pain that we're all experiencing. All right. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, have an awesome day. And I'll, of course, see you tomorrow.